time.
Good idea.
Okay, recording started. So, the news from my side. At first, I have participated in the OAI workshop in Geneva. So I was invited there by CERN, and it was a very interesting session in research security and openness. Did any one of you participated too?
No,
No.
Okay,
but
okay,
we
good.
have also a participation. We were at the EOSC symposium in Brussels that we can talk
Yeah.
about.
Yes, yes. Perhaps you told that last meeting you have participated. So it was the session about the research security, and what I may say, it's in the terms of openness, it was really a good good introduction by Ninke Salverda,
Mhm.
and she said that actually the first casualty of the current geopolitical situation is an openness. So let's say that this is a main thesis. And having this thesis, now we have the main responsibility for the researcher, not the, let's say, the results, the openness, the sharing, the collaboration, but uh, actually the compliance with the regulative rules set by the authorities, the classification of data, collaboration regulations, and so on. So I think the uh, let's say the decentralized systems will not be considered more or less feasible for the at least the global north scientific society at all from the research security
Yeah.
point of view. Yeah, Jonas?
Yes, I was.
Uh, yeah, your Zoom said that you wanted to say something. No?
Am I muted? I
No,
should
no,
be
you
able
are
to say
not.
stuff all the time. I just agreed. That was all.
Yeah, sorry, sorry. So that was the first point. Let me sh no, I cannot now share my screen. Sorry, because I am on a different workstation. So it was the first introduction. It's was also the presentation for many use cases about mostly the collaboration with scientific authorities from China.
Mhm.
And what I really can say is that we have now the additional layer in between publishers and researchers and even the peer reviewers. Are you agree with this?
Mm.
I I can agree that we perhaps do have that. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
The additional layer, how would you describe that?
Uh, the regulative authority
Mhm.
for classification and
Yeah.
data sharing.
Yeah. Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now I see how you are sort of
Yeah, yeah,
positioning.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This is what was explicitly said.
Mhm.
And the only thing I'm wondering now is maybe you have some considerations. It's about should we consider the legal risks for the researchers who are publishing their research more, let's say, mm, more significant than the geopolitical risks? Actually, I don't see that we should consider the geopolitical risks at all. I think we should have an authority that should do it for us. What do you think?
What authority would that be?
Well, as from my remembrance from Russia, This authority was called Classification and State Secret and Legal Intelligence Agency. We have it in every university at least. So, but I don't know.
Sweden does not have anything that is comparable to that, and we also have more or less have laws that make it very difficult to have anything like that in the actual universities. Since our laws are flipped, there's only a few spaces that are exempt from that. One of them is the defense school, and then
Yeah,
there is a few others that have exemptions uh, from basically the standpoint of corporate secrets, but there is no, like, openness is by definition in Swedish universities, so by law. So you have to, if you publish something as a part of it, you must have a very strong reason to keep it secret. And very few can get to that level in Sweden. And we have a system for checking that, of course, like that if you ask for something and you're not receiving it, let's say I write a document in my
yeah,
role as a university as a researcher, and I don't release it once it is on the established as a document, then you as a person who is wanting this data, you would uh, go to court basically in Sweden and say, hey, this person is not releasing their data, and then or their published work, and then the judicial system would look into it. So we really don't have that direction. We have an agency, of course, for counterintelligence and things, but that's a different branch from the universities. It's never on the site of the universities, and it will never be on the site of the universities.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
we used to have that in like 1700 something,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that is
yeah.
long gone.
1700. Yeah, there's a couple of hundred years ago since we
yeah,
got rid of it. So yeah, no, it's not gonna show itself again in any time soon, especially since Sweden is making more laws towards opening up rather than closing down. Um,
yeah, yeah. So there is no one to tell you after you have written some article or some document, or you are trying to collect and, let's say, anonymize some data set. There will be no one who will say, okay, before doing whatever you want, you should go to the agency and receive the document signed by many, many persons to have an attempt to publish it.
if you are going to do research, and this
Yeah,
research involves um, living things, you will need to have an ethical review before you start. An IRB will have to look at your things before you start, saying, "Oh, your studies are ethical," or you're
but
not
it,
killing
Yeah,
people unnecessary, or
yeah,
whatever,
but it is about ethics. It's not
But it's about
about
ethics,
ethos.
not about security.
Yeah,
For security, no one would actually. We had a person that came and asked us before if they needed some assistance, and we asked them to contact the police to ask them for assistance in judging this problem, because we said, like, because there's nothing in the university system that has anything to do with that. uh, so it is, you can never, there's very little to stop a researcher in Sweden for doing things. Except for, I mean, you are required, like any citizen, to follow all the laws. So you're required to follow
yeah,
GDP, required to follow the Data Act, and so on and so forth. But you're not required to fill out any specific contract or data on anything that you're doing research on. That doesn't work that way. It is only from the ethical perspective there is laws.
Yeah. Then again, I don't know how it's done right now in Belgium, in Netherlands, or somewhere else, but in Sweden there is nothing. Okay, so there is no legal responsibility for anyone to do something like that. And what about also I was a bit surprised about publishing the data that were Chinese citizens allowed to work with, because it was literally said that there is now responsibility of any researcher working together with people from China to, let's say, somehow keep an eye and to see what are they doing and what they are publishing. I was pretty surprised about that. Don't think that's in Sweden could be some prohibitions about that.
No, we have some prohibitions on which can use our systems that are based on the international agreements, but and who you can share your data with, but that's just standard GDPR stuff.
Yeah,
So, except for the standard things, we don't have anything to block. Like if you're doing, for example, particle research, there is nothing to stop you from sharing your data with anyone.
yeah.
For nuclear research, there is some restrictions um, because it's nuclear research. Um, so there are some special rules and laws that apply from that perspective, but not for data sharing, except
Yeah.
you can't share details on um, how the uh, power plants are built and things like that. But that's like that for everyone.
Let's say it's like an standard
But
export
you,
restrictions.
Yeah.
yeah, you can, but not in how specific places are built.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You can say this is generally how you build a one,
Exactly.
but you can't say this particular one built here is built like this.
Exactly.
But you
exactly.
can of course you can share, like you can share all the other things, and you can share all the things on like how you do storage of materials and things like
And I
that.
believe you're actually encouraged to share as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
This is
again,
why.
you need to have an excuse not to share. Like you have to have a legal reason not to share.
Yeah.
That
So the reason should be written somewhere in the rules, and you should, let's say, explicitly say that, hey, you should apply these regulations to us.
yeah, those regulations are like they're up to each, like because they're like any other laws, so they are up to
Yeah.
each individual to understand and know the laws of Sweden. Of course, there is help at the universities, like if you're a researcher, you can go to, like in Uppsala, you can go to the research data support, and then we can sort of guide you and say, okay, you need to think about this one, or you need to think about this particular thing before you start. But it's never anything once you are at the sharing state. That doesn't exist.
Okay. Okay. This is at least this is good. I
Yeah.
can say I can say because literally what was said by Minke Salverda from Leuven University,
Hmm.
it's actually it eliminates all the possibilities to share the data in the decentralized way.
Hmm.
And yes, because if the researcher takes the responsibility for having that data, let's say, classified by default, I know what does it mean because I was working with some part of this data many years ago, but I did. And if you have such a responsibility, then there is impossible to share anything. Yeah. So this is let's say the main use from OAI research security and openness session that I have participated. And the second one was what Francis invited all of us. As I saw, probably no one except me and even for a couple of hours was able to participate. It was a Koara ERIP self-assessment workshop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I didn't have time to go.
Yeah, I had just
I completely missed that.
I can understand because I had only a couple of hours and I was listening and having some typing some questions during doing another task. So from that, I think the only thing I can report is that now the focus of on the openly shared data sets, technologies, and metadata is shifted from the so-called global north to global south. We had a lot of participations from and the contributions from the people from uh, Western Africa,
Mhm.
from India, and from the Arabic countries. And I could say that they are sharing the amount of data which raises closer to being exponentially raising. So this is
That sounds good.
actually, yeah, it sounds really good. And they are, let's say, more voluntary to open all of their data and to share more metadata than let's say, the countries of the global north headed by the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my experience from when I went to Australia to
Yeah.
the IDW
Yeah.
in October, and my experience was also the same that the um, African Union
Yeah.
is a lot more open to sharing than what the global north, and they're actually taking active steps to increase sharing.
Yes,
Yes.
this has been going on for a long time.
Yes, yes, it has. But now they are now before, like if I go back a few years or I go back a year or two, actually they were much more unstructured. Now they're much more structured, and it's like you say, they're going at an exponential rate. Like they are if they're not already quite far past us, they will be in very short time, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I completely agree after this conference.
the biggest problem we have in the global north right now is actually the way we interpreted data sovereignty,
Oh, yeah.
which was a
Also, I
very
can completely agree.
which was a very big topic during the uh, symposium, EOS symposium. How do you make sure you have sovereignty? But I mean, if you're looking at things like persistent identifiers and things like that, that is the guarantee for sovereignty, because that's what makes it traceable back to you, which makes it you can claim that this was my data, this was what I did first. If you don't have this like a network that can be shared equally globally, and that's why I still super believe in the idea of distributed PIDs, because unless you have a way of making sure that you don't have the financial blockage, that layer in between, because as you said, actually we have for a long time had a layer in between that is not regulatory, but actually structural, in the fact that we have had a few gatekeeping uh, central services,
Yes.
mainly from publishers or conglomerates of publishers, like the DOI and other things, to
Yeah.
make it difficult to share data with provenance. And I
Yes.
think this is because it's been easy to share with Providence if you can afford to publish in those journals, if you can afford the fees for it, sure, then it's easy. But if you
But this is a very northern way of seeing it, and by
yeah
that I mean global north, seeing that the sort of main point of publishing in a journal is that the journal is so great that everyone will see your things. And it's the same with universities. You working at this university is enough. Well, sometimes it isn't.
yeah, and there are many concerns that make this very difficult and problematic
Because
because
this means that it's really hard if you are from a small university, even if your research is good.
Yes. Even let's say even not so if the university is not so small, but let's say not well
Well, not
recognized,
very
not
rich.
yeah, not well recognized by the publishers in this particular topic or context.
Mhm.
Yes, that is enough to make you be a second rate in
Oh
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh
and
yeah,
that
exactly.
is a huge issue actually. So I think that's even a bigger issue than the regulatory issue because
Yes,
learning to follow the laws is easy, and most laws that we have nowadays are not uh, are laws that are meant to help you share, not restrict you sharing. There are some start things that are coming that are making it difficult to share, but in the EU at least. But I think most of the things are meant. The intention is to make it easier to share, not make it harder to share. Uh, so
I
uh,
believe the intention is mostly to make people feel safe about sharing.
yeah, exactly. That's the intention. And when people feel safe about sharing, they will share. That's the idea. Right? Like
That's
that's
Well,
what
it's
the goal
yeah,
of
it's
GDPR, for example, is, and that's why most countries and unions have followed the example from the Europe. The problem that we have is data sovereignty. That's a separate part that has come up the last couple of years, and it's a really problematic part.
It's about when it comes to the data sovereignty, it's always about, let's say, it's a thing of protection, not about the safety
Yeah,
itself.
exactly.
Because what the people are always trying to search is who will protect my data if someone will claim that it's his data,
Yeah,
and who would be able to, let's say, to forcefully shift the sovereignty if it is claimed in not a legal way.
yes.
yeah. And I
I
think
ha Yeah, sorry, go
I
ahead.
think that the problem also is that a lot of times when I hear people talk when I've been out at the conference and when you listen to from the European Commission and so on, uh, and other global North participants, US and others, um, it's more about the country or union's control rather than sovereignty, as in the researcher's sovereignty.
Yes.
In Sweden, we are used to
Agree.
research sovereignty, right? So for us, it's a little bit strange, this idea of nationalism in that context. We're used to nationalism in other contexts, just like other countries, unfortunately. But uh, for researchers, that has not been a very big thing. It's usually been about research sovereignty. And research sovereignty you achieve by making sure people can figure out that you were the one that published the data, that published the the whatever research you have done, right? So that is by finding you and by being able to claim that, hey, look, I am the first originator here. And again, I think that's something that our thing solves rather than hinders our idea, solves rather
I
than.
agree. That's why we have been kind of keen on actually implementing this, because it
Yeah,
suits Sweden's use case very well.
yeah, it fits Sweden very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And also the thing is when it comes again to the sovereignty, I'm completely agree with you that when it comes to the sovereignty, it always comes strangely to the country.
yeah.
And because
Sweden.
we have the information environment in which there are no borders. And
Yes.
as there are no borders, so most of the authorities are asking us, how did you protect? Actually, they are asking the researchers to protect the borders in the informational space over the, let's
Mhm.
say, the meaning of the sovereignty term they have. And this is why most of the decentralized technologies are considered, let's say, not safe.
Mhm.
At least I think so. I don't know if would we have another perspective, but what I have encountered for the last 2 months, it's to me it's really surprising because of almost everything that is called decentralized is actually considered now as let's say under the compliance of a protective authority, like for example BitTorrent in Australia.
Mhm.
Yeah. Did you, as you were in Australia, so did you have any encounter with their regulations about the data?
Uh, a little bit. I talked to a lot of these. So the ARDC, they have a lot of different. There are a lot of different data sharing um, solutions in Australia that have come quite far.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, they do. They are starting to feel some of the problems of sort of recent implementations of regulations in Australia because the regulatory side has sort of started to come down on a lot of these things a little bit
Yeah.
more than they had before because many of their systems were decentralized.
Well, what the thing is, what does it mean? Because they would be called decentralized, but actually they would have some other nature.
Mhm.
Did you have an opportunity to see what they really meaning?
Depending on sort of which solutions, I'm actually I have contact with, let me see if I can remember. Uh, uh, just need to check a thing on the computer. That was actually quite interesting then, and I think would be interesting also to talk to them about the idea of of distributed PIDs because it it was also one of these organizations that let me check on the phone instead it's easier.
Yeah.
Oh no, it got there. Uh, let me see messaging. So I talked to the the uh, people that work with secure enclaves and these things.
Yeah.
Uh, the openminded.org.
Open mind. Could you please drop a link?
Yeah. Uh, so these guys, and we talked a lot about how to solve these problems of having distributed systems and connections with different things. Um, So that was with a person called Jay Madhava. So we talked a lot about open source and how that affects different things and
Yeah.
how you connect how you can make. This was also mostly in conjecture with a couple of things like AI and crisis management, crisis organizations. But we talked a lot during that, and I'm going to keep having contacts with them
Yeah.
if uh, to try and figure out different things. Of course, it's like um, a, uh, a lot of times it is. So that is they work with privacy preserving tools on network and things like that. So that is how I sort of got in contact with them because when you look at things like sensitive data and things like that. So I think they have a lot of different types of and they had a system which was kind of uh, it, it was kind of sort of a distributed
Yeah.
uh, a way of connecting different silos that don't have a central server.
Yeah, but it's actually the model we have.
Yeah. So it was basically that they're following kind of the same models. And I think I've seen many things like that are trying to do similar things. So while in many ways, and if you look at things uh, uh, like what people are starting to build are registers, of course,
Yeah.
which are centralized in the fact that they have a register which says here is where the data is. Like if you look at something like Galaxy or EOSC, the EOSC nodes and EOSC data nodes, these kind of things. But they are actually distributed systems because all the calculations and everything happens out somewhere else with something that has said I'm willing to provide service. It's not the connection isn't from the centralized part out. It becomes more of a registry or portal, and that's more like a collection of things than it is a a centralized system, because you don't have necessarily have the authentication doesn't necessarily happen at the the registry. They usually happen out at the different site, and they basically just provide APIs for shuffling that part. Um, so I think in a way, I mean, I think we're in a way people are people. If you say it's distributed, people are scared because they think they don't have control.
Yeah.
If you instead say that it's localized, for example, then people will think, oh, great, I have control, which is really interesting because it's a mind shift, right? If you're saying this is a distributed system and this person has control over that and this person has control over what they have added, then if you say describe that as distributed, people think, oh, no one has control over anything. But when you say this is locally controlled by each instance,
Yeah.
then instead of a central instance, which is distributed, that's exactly what distributed means. then people are in the sovereignty mind and they go like, oh, this is great. This does my thing. This is me having control. And I think when we look at many solutions today, they are distributed cloud solutions. There are different other things that are distributed in different ways, more or less,
Yeah, but they have their cloud solutions is a good example because either they have a distributed nature, they still have sovereignty,
yeah, yeah,
but they
exactly.
have a sovereignty by the stakeholder because
Yeah.
he's who provides the equipment.
Yeah. So I mean that's the thing is that I think it has more happened that you get a um the problem that has existed, and I think why people are a little bit afraid about distributed is actually not about distributed services, because what most problems exist, if you look at data transfer, it's things like you transfer to a central server of Microsoft, or you transfer to a central server of Open AI and things
Yeah.
like that. It's not that you transfer servers to a distributed system, because their systems in themselves does not need to be distributed. So
Yes.
I think it's a little bit that we've sort of missed the mark. And the other thing I think is people are afraid of the idea of BitTorrent and what it was used for, right? When people started using that to commit copyright crimes and other things, by trying to avoid central spaces. But that has
Uh,
to do with
yeah.
with the
Even not
distributed
that.
nature of itself, right? It has
Yes.
nothing. The security problem isn't in the distributed part. It is in the individual using the system, and that's the same.
Yes,
You have a central.
individuals that use the system, and especially about the, let's say, the monopoly stakeholders on the
Yeah,
content. Let's say, I don't want to say content, I want to say just the data.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you know that today it was a great outage, probably on half of the infrastructure on Cloudflare. So OpenAI, Amazon, and many other services were out of service actually. But the infrastructure itself, it's it is really distributed. But when it comes to the stakeholders' point of view, it could be completely out in one simple step.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's distributed, but it's not. It's centralized still. This
Yes.
is what we are speaking about.
Yeah.
And for the, I have also bit of information about the BitTorrent. So you see that most of the Linux distributions that have a more or less significant size, like Ubuntu,
Hmm.
they are supplied via BitTorrent because otherwise you are not able to supply the large amounts of data to your. Actually, they are not customers; they are participants. Sorry?
Sorry, I just had to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm listening. I just had to
Yeah.
answer my son.
And when it comes to the distribution of the data, this is what this is the task that the systems like BitTorrent have already solved. But about the encryption and distribution of, let's say, the sovereignty, no. So again, we have the point of misunderstanding. Speaking about also the distributed and decentralized nature of the systems.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, like in any other system architecture.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, so this is let's say the configuration. And yeah, I'm now having a quick look on the homepage of OpenMind,
Hmm.
and what they are really what they are really pushing is a framework,
Yeah,
framework.
exactly.
It's about confidentiality.
Yes.
Did you speak with someone about how they are understanding the meaning of confidentiality in the distributed systems? Did you
Uh,
have a chance?
we got just started when I was down there. So that's what I'm trying to set up with um, 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 my contact there is to have a meeting and be able to do more discussions. And maybe I could suggest uh, him showing up at, say, one of these type of meetings, for example, to talk a little bit. That could maybe be a start and an idea. Uh, but uh, I have not yet sort of solidified anything with him on when or where. But the idea was that we would be in contact afterwards, um,
Yeah,
and then try and connect again and sort of have more longer discussions when we could sit down and have a proper long discussion about these things, because it's a little bit too complicated to just discuss over half an hour in fika or in the
of
what's it called,
course,
break times. Yeah.
of course, of course. Yeah, yeah. So, and for now, I didn't see still any news from the Pitfest.
Hmm.
It's not even published when there is a deadline for application. This is a link, but I
Yeah,
don't
it
see
just
the
says that it's gonna be in Leiden in
in Leiden, yes, but
27th to 29th.
yes, but about the participation. This is what I really wonder
Yeah.
for. So yeah, I'm already in the mailing list, so probably we will see. Yeah. So there is one another point in our agenda for today. It's the PID experiments of the website versioning because I have now opened, let's say it was 2 hours long pet project. It's a decentralized uh, hobby website hosted in the IPFS network. So I tried to perform versioning. So every commit in the repository has its own IPFS content ID. And I may say that once we have metadata, it's already shared by Git, we can we can already identify the at least the tags. So the exact versions of the current content are completely we are able to identify and to check for the presence of a new metadata, but it's not, for now, it's not possible to acquire this metadata. And this is what I am working on right now. This is why I have little time, but I am writing the tests for distributed hash table. And this is what I hope to present as soon as possible. So yeah, the possibilities is already there. The thing is how to manage it using the DHT. Using the DHT, this is what I'm working on right now. Unfortunately, I will have time to develop
Hmm.
only by the end of the next week because I had a little time last week, and I will have another piece of time next week. I wanted also to ask Jonas, did you have any, let's say, possibility to have a direct contact with your developers. Maybe we would like to discuss a collaboration.
The, not since last time. They are pretty swamped with stuff, and I haven't talked to them about starting some sort of collaboration. I think that they are filled with work that is being paid for.
Oh
So
yeah,
we should probably aim to get one of these grants to be able to hire them.
oh yeah, yeah. It's about this. Unfortunately, I could say that my participation. I may participate in writing a grant, but literally it should be at first it should be agreed with some institutions inside EU, because otherwise I don't believe that I would be allowed legally to participate.
Okay.
Because now, under the 19th package of sanctions that was established over the citizens of Russia, it becomes really a weird time.
I can see that, but that can you be a well, sure, we can solve that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, yeah, the thing
Lars
is,
is experienced in writing applications, at least.
yeah, yeah. We can at least we could try. And I also wanted to kindly ask you to drop again in our agenda, in our agenda document, not to the chat, the links to the websites with some grants, if you know.
If I know of any grants that I think we should apply for, I will do so.
Okay, okay.
I
Thank you very
since I'm
much.
on my phone now, I don't have anything to post at the moment. Maybe Lars knows more.
No, not at the moment.
Mm,
But I can also have a bit of a look and see what can exist out there. What might be where we might be able to find some common source of funding.
Yes.
Um,
yeah.
but it is a little bit difficult at the moment for sure.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. So the perspective, let's say, is covered by mist. I mean, in terms of funding.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, for now, I don't have any other information to tell. Do you have anything to ask or to tell?
Mm, not at the moment.
Okay, okay, and I wanted also, I will drop now again the link to the chat. I wanted to ask you to have a look and write something in the spec, because for this week, for example, I will not have time to think about it and to write it properly.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me see. It should be in the supplementary links. Mhm. Just a sec. Back. Concepts and definitions. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. So it's about the completion of the version 2.
Mhm.
Yes, if you will be able, it would be excellent. Because we need now we need to decide about the concept of backend and the concept of message, because I needed to really to define it properly before implementing it in the tests.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would be really an excellent point for helping. If we would be able to do, I would be very appreciated.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
take a look at it and see what we can
Yeah.
come up with.
Thank you. Thanks in advance. Thanks in advance.
Well, I hope you posted it in some sort of Slack or
I will.
yeah, good.
Thank you. Thank you. I may also, you probably don't have Mattermost application on your phone, because I may put it there.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent it on the link on
On Slack.
Slack. So
Okay.
he has it. He has the link.
Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, for now, no other news. No other news from my side. And we have 5 minutes left. Okay, so the next meeting we would plan on 2nd of December, right? Will you be able to participate?
I think so.
I think so too. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so.
Okay,
I
perfect.
will.
So I will order the new Zoom room for the 2nd of December.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for all the news and for the help.
Yeah, it's really interesting to talk to you every time. I mean, I think this is important. I really think that this is an important project. I think it.
Thank you, because we are what we are doing right now. We are collecting the knowledge base
Yeah.
for any other who may participate in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thanks again, and see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Thank
See
you.
you.
See you.
See you. Bye bye.